Hey everybody, this is Erin again, making another video. I want to make another video on another topic. Um, I made a video today about a book I got in the mail today called Southern Slavery and the Law. I started reading in it a little bit, and some of the issues that the author is talking about is really fascinating. I didn't know that there was an issue with the classification of the slaves. Yeah, they had to make a determination whether or not they were real property or personal. They called it personalty property, and property is kind of like the equivalent of chattel property. So slaves were, you hear that word chattel slavery a lot among historians, but I'm not sure what the status was of black people during slavery. And there could have been a mixture of statuses depending on what slave master the slaves were under and what state they were in. So there's a lot of things that I'm going to be really going through this book and seeing what light it sheds on the issue of how black people were considered as property, and what that specific type of property was. And also I wanted to know whether or not this property was held in trust or in estates, and it appears as if it was. So I'm gonna get to the bottom of that. Check that out. One of the things that I've been really interested about for about a month now. About a month ago, I read the Dred Scott decision, Dred Scott, 1857, where Chief Justice Taney gave an opinion about the status of slaves in free territory, or basically in slaves in free territory. And it was a very informative opinion. It was completely not what I expected. So I am curious to know whether or not the Dred Scott decision was overturned. Now I've heard from different places that Dred Scott was overturned by the slaughterhouse cases. I think the slaughterhouse cases were in the maybe the 1880s. But the next serious Supreme Court decision involving black people, I believe, was Plessy versus Ferguson, which was 1896. The 13th and 14th Amendment were in the 1860s, and I believe, I think it was the 1860s, 1868. So I'm wondering, I want to know if that Supreme Court decision, Dred Scott, was overturned by anything. Is there positive proof that it was? Because during the campaigning election in 2016, I believe it was Huckabee or one of these politicians made the statement that Dred Scott versus Sanford was basically still in effect. It had not been overturned. Now I don't know what the context was for him making this statement, but or I don't remember what the context was, but I remember that a politician said something about it. So I said, I wonder what that's all about. So the next major decision after Plessy versus Ferguson in 1896 was the Brown versus Board of Education in 1954, where, let me back up. Plessy versus Ferguson, the issue there was equal accommodations for black people. So the decision in that, who was that Supreme Court Justice? I don't know who I forgot what his name was, but the decision was that blacks blacks and whites were equal, but provisions were in place for them to stay separate but equal. That was the doctrine from Plessy versus Ferguson. Now Brown versus Board of Education came around and they overturned Plessy versus Ferguson. So that's why I'm asking the question, was there a Supreme Court decision that definitively overturned the Dred Scott decision? If Dred Scott was not overturned, this has major implications for the status of black people today and how they are operating and being related to within American society. So these are some of the things that I'm thinking about. So hopefully I can get to the bottom of this. I'm gonna upload this video to YouTube, and if anybody has any information or links or suggestions about where I can get conclusive evidence about the Dred Scott decision and the real status of black people in this country, please let me know. All right, thanks for watching.